This is exactly the kind of thing I've been talking about on my channel for the past 2 years. This piece of news demonstrates the point that I've been trying to make for so long. Deus Ex Mankind Divided's terrible, god-awful pre-order bonus scheme has been completely scrapped by Square Enix and Eidos Montreal, which makes me happy for two main reasons. The selfish reason being that I now no longer have to boycott my most anticipated game of 2016, and that it proves the point that I've been discussing for years now. I get particularly frustrated at a lot of gamers' attitudes when it comes to our power within the industry. Generally, it's dismissive, things like, we can't change things, they have the power, we don't, we might as well deal with it. This should serve as a prime example of the fact that we possess the majority of the power. We have the buying power, it's our money, we ultimately fund these games, the publishers and developers, and ultimately, they have to satisfy us. And when we use that to our advantage to serve the best interests of the consumer, which you should be trying to do anyway, that's when we can affect good change. Happened with the Xbox One. It's been happening more and more lately, where our feedback and our purchasing decisions have directly impacted policy changes, changes to models and things of that nature to make things better for us. But we still have a lot of areas in which we need to be better. Now, this news I'm going to spin into a little bit of a much longer rant about gamers, the power that we have, and the things that we need to do to try and make gaming better. See, even though we have victories like this, and probably the major victory of the past 5 years being what happened with the Xbox One, but the problem that I have is that it's just like I said earlier this year. I believe that gamers at large have weak constitutions, and that we're more willing to sacrifice, you know, the principles that we hold simply for a game that we want. Some people flat out don't care, which is aggravating, but I do understand some people who just, they have a game that they want to play and they don't want to have to sacrifice that experience because of bad DLC models. But to me, this should serve as an example of the fact that if you do the right thing, it will benefit you in the end, as long as you can get other people to do it too naturally. See, like you might have with any other game, Deus Ex Mankind Divided was my game. It was the game that I was most looking forward to next year, up there with Ratchet and Clank and Uncharted 4. This was the game I was looking for, and you had no clue how devastated I was when I saw that news, because it was in an impasse. What do? Do I buy the game? I mean, I obviously wasn't going to pre-order it, but do I buy the game or do I not buy the game? It was hard for me, but I decided that if it was going to go ahead, I probably wasn't going to buy the game. And even though that situation arose, which was bad for me, because I stuck to my guns, because many other people did the same thing, they changed it. And so now I can feel happy going to buy the game, even perhaps purchasing the collector's edition to get the statue and all of the cool novels and comic books, because of the fact that I was patient and that I was perseverant with the goal that I was striving for, and that many other people did the same thing as me. See, when we as gamers act as a collective in a positive way, not in a negative way, which we'll discuss later, but in a positive way, with a goal in mind, a clear goal that we want to achieve, we can do it, because it's our money. See, I said this on Twitter, complaining about a problem works. It definitely works. When you complain about a problem, you show them that you're not happy with it, and probably even better if you do it more aggressively, because then they can tell that you're frustrated. But not just complaining about a problem, because that may work some of the time, but in these instances, it's more than just complaining, it's doing. That's what we need to do. We don't need to talk about it, we gotta do it. This is a standard I've been holding myself more to as of late, what with trying my best to actively avoid games with bad DLC models or business practices, generally trying to avoid games with microtransactions, not pre-ordering, not buying season passes, because complaining is one thing, but doing is another. And what I'm hoping is that when we can see a victory like this, it can encourage more gamers who may be on the fence about this stuff, who aren't just completely off the deep end and just don't care, think that pre-ordering season passes and all these microtransactions are fine, but to try and convince the people who we can get to do the right thing, who we can get to speak up and boycott bad business practices. It makes me happy. It makes me happy that we can have a small victory, that we can hopefully use this victory as a way of pushing forward to more things, to try and campaign against the other bad things, because the reality of gaming is that even though we have victories like this, there are so many problems. Assassin's Creed Syndicate has microtransactions. Call of Duty Black Ops 3 has maps exclusive to pre-orders and exclusive to certain retailers. We got more season passes for more games. Cut content. We still got the issue with a lot of early access games not being completed because they don't need to complete them because I've already made the money off of the games that they've sold. We've still got a lot of issues that we need to tackle. But I'm happy to say that at least now I won't have to boycott a game that I'm really looking forward to, because thankfully Square Enix and Eidos Montreal listened to the feedback and did the right thing. Thank you for not forcing me to boycott the game that I'm really looking forward to. And let's use this victory as a way to push forward and change gaming for the better.